DC Films president testifying against Amber Heard over Aquaman 2 issue. So a bunch of the stuff that we talked about yesterday ended up being like wrong. Like basically the stuff about like chemistry ended up being right, but the rest of it, like she was not removed from the film because of Johnny Depp issues. She's just kind of like doesn't have any chemistry with Jason.
She's
Momoa.
just actually the worst.
She's
okay, but didn't we say like if Jason Momoa, who by all accounts is a very nice, pleasant person, doesn't like you, like
he does like her though.
Problem?
No, that's
okay. Sure, he does.
No, a question I have here is like because like basically it's like the studio said that she had no chemistry with Jason Momoa, and they had to basically cobble together that chemistry in post production, like make it look good in editing that they actually.
That's a red flag.
And like it's like I'm guessing that if you're a straight woman and you can't have good chemistry with a dude who looks like Jason Momoa, I don't know what to say about that.
Again, I don't understand this hype about Jason Momoa. Like to me, he looks like he's just some guy.
He's just some guy.
Yeah, I get that.
Like I don't get it.
From all the reports I've ever heard about people who work with him are like he's very pleasant, he's fun on set. Like he doesn't get a negative reaction the way that Amber Heard people like.
I mean, yeah, I just know if I were working with someone with even like a conversation about the possibility they were that volatile behind the scenes, I would feel weird about my interactions with them.
So basically it says that Hamada is expected to reveal to the jury that there were no negative consequences for Heard in relation to the Aquaman franchise due to her legal situation, including her upcoming role in Aquaman The Lost Kingdom. This comes over a month after Heard testified that Heard's option was initially declined due to chemistry issues with Arthur Curry and Jason Momoa. And basically what they're saying is that it wasn't going to stop them from having her in the film. They just limited her screen time. Thank you.
Thank you.
And also...
That better be for my research
It
fund.
is. We'll get to it. So basically they're saying that the chemistry wasn't there, but that they weren't going to like eliminate her from the movie. They just limited her screen time, and they didn't give her, she didn't have like a huge contract advance. He went from like 3 to 4 million in the first Aquaman to like 15 million in the second one, which is about right for the star of the movie, especially with a film that ended up being as successful as it was. I think it made over 800 million domestically, or that might have been 800 million worldwide. All I remember saying like Aquaman nearly made $1 billion. Like, have you ever seen the Aquaman comics? He's very different in the comics.
Have you ever seen the Aquaman
it getting
movie?
dunked on. I never saw the movie.
The
How
version.
Are they making $1 billion? 2 out of 3 people in this room never saw it.
It happens over and over again.
But what's fascinating about that is like it makes sense with crappy Marvel characters because Marvel's built this goodwill and infrastructure behind movies that are considered generally okay, so people keep coming back to them like fast food. DC with their very big hit and miss moniker, meaning like one might be really good, the next one might be really awful. So for one like this to make close to $1 billion is a testament, I think, to his Momoa's charisma,
marketability, at least.
Yeah, his marketability. So it says down here, it says, and then we're going to go to this one. This is where they talk about that. It was basically Depp had nothing to do with Heard's reduced role in Aquaman 2, according to a head honcho at Warner Brothers. That's Walter Hamada. The actress's chemistry with Jason Momoa was apparently a concern for executives. So this is why, like, Momoa and James Wan directed that movie, championed her coming back for the second one, but the executives are like, look, we're looking at this and I don't see any chemistry on screen here. So it just shows like what the actors want and what the studio wants are going to oftentimes be at odds.
Yeah.
And the studio's looking out for things financially for the actors who work together. And, if you're not, if you're a very, very like business minded actor, you're going to want whoever you think is going to help you make the most money. But for a lot of them, if they develop decently close relationships with their coworkers, you work on these projects for long periods of time together, you develop a bond of sorts, if not a close professional one. You'd think some of them form friendships. And Jason Momoa strikes me as an affable guy that's very like willing to go to bat for his coworkers. So even though the executives didn't feel that she brought much to the table as far as chemistry with him, because it's her job in a movie where she stars alongside him to bolster that character. That's your job as a co-star. You develop your own personality, your own core role, and then you're supposed to help shine a light on the main star, especially when it's like a self-titled movie. It's not called Kings of Atlantis. It's literally called Aquaman.
Let me be contrarian.
Oh, you?
Here's why ultimately...
You really? No.
Mary's going to be completely out of character.
Shut the front door.
Mary's going to act not like herself for a second.
Ultimately, here's why it's Jason Momoa's fault.
Okay. Do tell.
Amber Heard, I think we can guess, is the type of person who can make a really strong, really good first impression with somebody that she has a shallow relationship with. Someone who doesn't see her in vulnerable moments. She's able to make people like her really easily. And she's hot. That helps.
That does help.
It certainly helps. And
hot crazy scale. Hot.
But then, like, the fact that, and I'm sure Jason Momoa is similarly charismatic, but the fact that Jason Momoa,
she's not. I don't find her acting charismatic. I find her attractive. I don't find her acting.
That's what I've heard from a lot of.
I haven't seen enough of her.
That she's like, she is really pretty, but she's not like the talent that like her beauty. Like
they were saying recast her with Emilia Clarke, and that would have been 1,000 times better than having Amber Heard. But that's.
By the way, I want to hear your point, and then I have something to say. Let's keep some order here, children.
Like, if Jason Momoa isn't able to set aside his preconceived notions of her based on the controversy surrounding her and Johnny Depp that existed before this trial even started, then it's really him who is not performing his job properly.
Yeah.
But I don't know if
we actually don't know why.
We don't know the real situation. I'm just saying it's not necessarily her.
I want to say that, like, it's interesting that the execs are being called to say this during her trial because, yes, it is Johnny Depp's defamation trial against Amber Heard for $50 million. But remember, she countersued and said that, like, this trial and what Johnny Depp was doing had hurt her. And so they're basically saying, like, actually, no, this trial has nothing to do. Like, she is not losing acting time. She's not losing revenue. She's not losing money. There's not a financial loss tied to this trial because it actually had nothing to do with the trial. It had to do with the fact that
her agent saying that confused me so much because wouldn't her agent be on her side trying to strengthen her countersuit?
So you think that that the lack of chemistry could be because that he felt an animus against her,
or even
prior.
just an uneasiness.
But
if you hear about somebody before you even meet them, no matter what you hear, it's going to shape your perception of them.
But he's been vocal about wanting her back. So if that was true, why would he be vocal about wanting her back in the picture?
Or let's go even more simple. What if they just don't really make sense as a couple on screen? What if they just don't?
That's totally possible.
It says they didn't have a lot of really have a lot of chemistry together. The reality is, it is not uncommon on movies for two leads to not have chemistry, and that's sort of movie magic and editorial.
And I feel like some of it is on the actors too. Like, it's not just one or two of them. If you're an actor and you're supposed to have chemistry with someone, you should act like it. Like, you should make that work.
Partially, it's on the studio because they're supposed to do. They oftentimes do chemistry tests before hiring these actors. It's probably more difficult when they're hiring these people to do more than one movie, meaning that she didn't appear in Aquaman first. She made a first guest appearance in like the original Justice League movie, which came out in 2017. Yeah, so it says the ability to sort of put performances together with the magic of a great score. Hamada said you can fabricate that sort of chemistry. The editing phase of filmmaking really is the last storyteller. You can change. There's whole channels that are devoted to, like, if you take just the slightest look, you cut a clip just a tiny bit sooner and you change the entire context of a scene along with music. It's not just
think of,
the
like,
actors.
Reality TV show editors who will be like,
yes.
Like, if you've ever seen Love is Blind, the Netflix show, they have said that they have enough from filming one of the seasons to make essentially 4 seasons because there are so many people and there are so many storylines. Yeah. Because there's just, if you're recording someone like in reality TV show format, you know, for essentially 24 hours a day for 6 weeks, like, and there are 24 people who all have different relationships. I can't imagine with like a movie like this, like how many takes you do, and you could basically piece together a version where Aquaman and whatever Amber Heard is hate each other. You know, like it's just a question of cutting it together. I just think that, like, to a certain extent, the most important part of all of this is the fact that, like, whether it was Heard's fault or the casting director's fault or Jason Momoa's fault, like, she is not suffering because of the trial. Like,
yes, they make a very strong point here. He says she did not suffer because of this trial, that it's being done for separate reasons. Now, I do want to talk about the Kate Moss. Did you read the Kate Moss article? Basically, so she had
juicy.
Bringing the supermodel.
She had invoked Kate Moss earlier in the trial when basically she said that she was on the stairs with Depp and her sister. It's like Whitney Henriquez or something, and says Moss was drawn into the legal drama when Heard, 36, told the jury about in March 2015 a March 2015 fight during which she punched Depp, 58, in the face out of fear that he was going to shove her sister Whitney down a staircase. The Aquaman actress said that Henriquez was near a staircase quote, in the line of fire, trying to get Johnny to stop, which reminded her of a rumored incident between Moss and Depp. Whitney's back was to the staircase and Johnny swings at her, Heard testifies. I don't hesitate. I don't wait. I just, in my head, instantly think of Kate Moss and stares. I don't buy for a second that she actually thought that. That seems like an entire...
Well, okay, also,
I don't buy it.
If you're dating someone, you're like, hey, like, who are your exes? Like, I heard you had this weird thing with Kate Moss. Like, she would already, presumably know Johnny Depp's side of that, right?
Yeah. It says this prompted Depp's attorney, Benjamin Chew, to triumphantly punch his fist in the air in the Fairfax, Virginia courtroom, a celebratory acknowledgement that Moss could be brought up as an impeachment witness to the trial, legal sources told the Post. By mentioning the alleged misconduct, Heard inadvertently allowed Depp's lawyers to call the model as a witness. I'm literally picturing the sad Amber Heard lawyer that we were talking about earlier, how they're like saying
they're like so they're feeling sorry for her.
Yeah.
They're like, this is gonna ruin her career.
Everyone's picturing her
okay?
Crying in her office.
We start off with the Melania thing, like the lawyer's like, please just tell me the truth, or at least stop making up lies on the stand that I have to react to. I have loved the clips on TikTok of Ben the lawyer, who Johnny Depp supporters just refer to as Ben, because like if Mary's sitting where Amber Heard is, she'll be like staring at Johnny Depp, and Ben the lawyer will like immediately try to like get in her line of sight, and people are like, we love this guy, we stand him, which I think is the ultimate TikTok compliment.
But the familiar source says Moss's testimony about her own staircase incident likely won't help Heard. Johnny picked Kate up and carried her. I'm guessing they meant picked Kate up. Johnny picked up Kate and carried her. This was hardly Amber's scary interpretation of events, said the source. Depp's legal team have been in talks with Moss over the past week, according to insiders. Kate has nothing to gain in giving testimony, but she feels strongly about defending her friend.
Which all the women who have been romantically involved with him, and then also his daughter, have been like, no, he's not violent.
There was one
ex
really?
who said that he threw a bottle of wine at her and hit the wall next to her.
But there was like
an argument.
If we're supposed to take the appeal of the masses as like what generally supports the content of his character, the many people who say he's a good person, or the one person who says something negative. And even if that one negative thing did happen, that's to say that is the exception, not the rule.
None of it can prove anything, and everyone just thinks that they can take a peek into what this man is like in his personal life, and you're never going to know
I do
that.
think he wins either way now, because when he comes out of this, even if he loses the trial, his career will be rebounded.
There's an Instagram account that keeps congratulating him every time he gains a new 1 million followers, and like he basically has every week of this trial. I think what's hard is like what I believe to be the structure of this case is that like they are delving into all of this because it's salacious and they have to, and it came up in the op-ed, but they're trying to establish whether or not the things she claimed in the op-ed, or the domestic violence she claimed in the op-ed, are true. And like, it's weird because this actually isn't a domestic violence trial, right?
Nope.
Like if they were able to prove that he did that, which it doesn't seem like he did, and if they were able to prove that she was committing domestic violence, if she was abusive, she still won't be punished for it. Like the only thing that happens actually is like clearing the name. I don't know if the Washington Post has to retract the op-ed, and then this payment, which they could, sometimes defamation lawsuits get settled for like $1 just to prove a point.
Maybe they settle out of court. Wouldn't that be like anticlimactic?
Certainly not going to be 50 million.
And it's not going to be out of court.
We know that already.
I think there's too much ego in this on both sides, both Depp and Heard.
And finally, because this case is the epitome of the decline of American culture, fan dressed as poop spotted outside Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. Do you remember the Women's March in the pink hats?
Yeah,
we forget that.
We now have brown hats. So this is where culture has gone. This is it's a beautiful thing.
Hello.
It says the circus outside of the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard defamation trial got a little messier on Tuesday as one fan showed up dressed as poop. Here's a picture. You can see it if you guys can see on the screen. She kind of looks like she's going as like Rita Repulsa from the Power Rangers television show, but with like a poop emoji hat on, because it's 2022 and nothing matters anymore, and we are in mass cultural decline.
Do you know, once I read that someone tried to be like, oh no, that's not a poop emoji. That's actually a chocolate ice cream emoji.
I've heard that too.
I don't. What?
Then where is the cone?
Also, like, why does that have eye? I don't get this at all.
I also want to know whether this person showing support for Amber Heard or support
She's
for
just
Johnny
adding
Depp.
to the chaos.
Maybe
She
she's
doesn't
saying
care.
that this is.
She's
like,
chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
We need to meet this person. I need to meet her.
She's trying to
I
build
will.
her own influencer or platform, and she's like, I'm going to dress in my outfits are thematic to what was said in court.
I saw I was doom scrolling through a bunch of stuff talking about this the other day, and I kid you not, I came up with an account that was somebody had said it was like a I stand for Amber Heard one, and it said masked vaccinator vaccinated masker, part of Biden's army to defend democracy. And
that is so not a real account.
And I was just like, that can't be a real person,
It's
dude.
not.
Like,
You're
I was
thinking that it's not because it's not.
that can't be a real human being. That has to be fake. It was a private account. I wasn't going to add them, but it's like that just doesn't feel like an actual human being to me. But that's what all of this feels like right now. None of this feels real anymore. Mm-hmm. Do you feel rich? Do you feel rich?
Do you like all the
I
money?
just-
Thanks for cleaning it up.
Sometimes when it's laying on the floor, I'm like, why aren't we picking this up?
There was
I know
also-
we're doing something, but
There was also a lady who like interrupted court the day before and screamed that she had Johnny's baby in court, and then admitted
Cool.
after the fact that it wasn't true, as if anybody believed that it was true.
no, it wasn't true.
Yes.
No.
Monday, another fan made headlines from interrupting court by announcing that Depp was the father of her newborn baby. I like that it's a newborn. Like
She brought the newborn. She's like waving around her little pink
She
newborn.
just got out of hospital. She's like, gotta get to court.
The bizarre incident occurred during the morning break when the cameras were switched off, so it was not broadcast. Like, I literally,
Darn
all of
it.
it, I just, a lot of times I'm watching this stuff, and I'm just like, the world just feels different. Like, it doesn't, this
In
is
a bad way.
In a bad, like, the world doesn't feel like it did prior to 2016. Yeah. It just doesn't, and it's just.
Prior to, I think even
no
further
going back,
back,
man.
Yeah.
It's we're gonna have more stuff. I heard that Depp is not gonna have to testify again. Now I thought he was supposed to testify again this week, and now they're saying that he won't have to. So
When's the estimated end date?
end of this week, right?
Yeah, this Friday.
If I was allowed to gamble in recovery, I can't gamble, but everybody here that can gamble safely should be doing so.
As a consultant, you would advise that.
I don't know who I don't know who'd you ever. I really don't think he's going to win. I don't know
I
how.
don't either.
I don't think he's going to win.
Well,
but
also, like, what is winning, right?
Yeah.
Like,
adjust your expectations.
Nobody's gonna get what they're asking for. That's for sure.
Yeah, no one is ever going to be happy in any of these situations. But like, what are the objectives? Like, because, again, do you want the? I think he wins in the court of public opinion because he's had a chance to.
In that
like,
way,
he's
he
not
does
getting
win.
50 million.
I
in
don't think
damages,
he's getting
that's for
50 million.
sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets something. This has been a really strong presentation in my
She
case.
doesn't even have that much.
But like, you can still be, like, that's almost irrelevant. Like, to
To
Yeah.
be a debt
That's
slave
why-
to Johnny Depp for the rest of your life.
yeah.
For the rest of her life.
Elon will pay it,
Yikes.
man. He's all over this.
Space
I'm
Daddy will
He's
pay
coming
it.
to the
Oh my
rescue.
gosh.
That's-
What if he did? What if he pops in the
No,
last day and just writes
I-
Johnny a check?
want the last day for Johnny Depp to drive off in a Tesla that Elon Musk has sent him, and then them to be spotted out and about doing things together.
Big reveal.
I don't think that'll be the case. But
I like the idea of him coming in and just writing Johnny a check.
Yeah.
Like, or Apple paying him, or like, can you Apple pay
He gives
$50 million?
He
Like,
gives him an NFT.
It'll
It'll appreciate in value.
I just don't
it
think
will.
that she'll get anything for her countersuit. I think it's so clear that that's like not
Yeah.
going in. Ooh,
Thank you.
I think it's so clear that's not going anywhere. And again,
Wow.
Thank you. I don't know if that was the same one or if that was a different one. But before we go on, we got super chats, and they are related to Noodles and Company. So
are you
want to read
kidding
those?
me? This is happening.
Jeffrey Max says, when should you go to Noodles and Company when you're dating? Never.
Oh,
Oh, fantastic! I'll write it down in my research journal.
I was right. Keep going.
Waffles Sensei says,
Hi,
take
Waffles
Hannah
Sensei.
Claire to Noodles and Company after 2 years married. Take her somewhere she ain't been. Take Mary to Noodles and Company on date 2. Show you keep it casual.
That's what Seamus said. Seamus was like, you have to go early because it's casual and like you don't want to set expectations
What?
too high. Yeah.
This is
Waffles
so
Sensei, thank you so much for
convoluted.
participating. I have actually still never been to Noodles and Company, so I guess once I trap a man or he traps me, whatever happens first, we'll go 2 years later.
Nathan Koss says, Hannah, eating food is not a date. It's something you do to survive. Mary, looks like the creepy ghost girl from a horror movie.
That's a nice compliment for you.
Thank you.
It was actually different earlier. We've been, we're making some changes to the lights in here.
I was looking even more ghostly than I usually do.
Yeah, earlier on I was like, she looks like she's been cast in an Addams Family movie.
For the first 20 episodes I did, Brett would be like, you look really purple today. And I'd be like, I don't know how to help you, but I am alive and breathing. So
we're just two ghosts and Brett.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's Spooky Cast with
that would be the name of the podcast. Yes. So yeah, we've been making some changes to the lights, so she does look very ghostly today. It's
is that why, or is it just like that? That's how I always look.
Well, you always look. I like the days when you didn't. The days when you didn't, you were wearing red. So I think that might have more to do with the color temperature. So.
I think you look great, even if they mean ghostly in a bad way. I love
ghostly is
like
a good thing.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.